Our mission: Helping Parents Heal is a nonprofit organization dedicated to assisting bereaved parents to become shining light parents by providing support and resources to aid in the healing process. We go a step beyond other groups by allowing the open discussion of spiritual experiences and evidence for the afterlife in a non-dogmatic way. Affiliate groups welcome everyone, regardless of religious or non-religious background. Attendance today at this meeting is voluntary, and we are here for the benefit of learning from and sharing with other parents whose child has passed away. It is understood that our discussions are intended to be confidential and not designed to replace traditional therapy or spiritual counseling. However, these Zoom meetings are helpful to parents all around the world, and they are posted on YouTube so that affiliate members who are not able to attend this meeting live can also watch. Helping Parents Heal offers a wide variety of speakers to allow parents to be informed about many possible ways to heal, to connect with their children, and to learn about the afterlife. The views expressed by our guests do not necessarily reflect those of Helping Parents Heal, and we ask that you take from their presentations whatever may benefit you personally.
Thank you, Irene. And I'm going to go ahead and quickly read Daniel's bio. The important thing about the bio is that it explains that this is something that he wasn't born with. Actually, he was probably born as a medium, but it wasn't something that he knew about right away. In January of 2017, while out to dinner in Boston for a business trip, Daniel sat next to a new coworker and their lives would change forever. As they started to get to know each other, Daniel started getting visions, pictures, and feelings that he did not completely understand. He had had this happen before, but when it did, he would just deliver the subtle message and didn't think much of it. But this time it was different. It was much more intense and powerful. After about 45 minutes and many tears, they had no doubt that somehow his coworker's deceased husband was with them in spirit. The messages her husband was relaying to her were spot on, things that Daniel could never have known about her and her family, and confirmed that he was still very much a big part of her life, even though he passed away. Some of his messages were funny, yet some were more serious, but they were very healing to her and made her feel so good. The messages were of pure love for her and for her children. It was awesome. Even after this, being a skeptic, Daniel still did not believe that it would be possible to speak to people who have passed away. Maybe he had gotten lucky and guessed all those things. After all, it was against everything he was ever taught. Growing up Catholic and then becoming born-again Christian in high school, people did not communicate with the dead. It was strictly forbidden. Daniel was taught in his Catholic elementary school that no one could even talk to God unless they were a priest. Not only that, he thought that when we die, we go to heaven or hell, and that was it. After that night, he was on a journey to find out what this life really is all about, regardless of everything he had been taught. This is exactly what he asks of you and of us. Be skeptical, but be open-minded. And so without further ado, please join me in welcoming Daniel John.
What an intro. Man, that's awesome. Hi, everyone. So we've done a different format every time, Elizabeth. So if you kind of want me to just let Spirit guide, we can do that if you're okay with that. Go ahead and nod. Okay. So a little different than what we normally do. I kind of want to open it up to questions for some reason. Usually I have somebody coming through pretty strong. It's not that I don't. Well, I kind of don't. But I've kind of been guided tonight to have you just ask some questions. And so if you want to just raise your hand, they'll pick on you and you can ask it whatever you'd like. Give a little bit more background. I've been doing this about 3 years. I wrote a book called Why Are We Here? And I've probably done over 1,500 readings. I do, my calendar for 2021 is booked for private sessions, but I am booking into 2022 and I'll open the calendar soon. But between the 1,500 readings and the hundreds of books I've read, I've kind of come to a better understanding about life and why we're here. Now, I don't think anybody in human form can really know it all, but I've gathered a lot of information over the years, and I like to share it with people because it doesn't necessarily mean that they're truths, but there's some common themes that Spirit have shared with me that I've read throughout books and throughout scripture. And I feel like I have some knowledge or some information that can be really helpful, especially to grieving parents. So I figured we'd open it up and ask if see if we have any questions, and then I'm sure Spirit will pop through, as we continue.
That's wonderful. So I guess that what people are doing are raising their hands on the computer. Would you like, since you're a co-host, to go ahead and pick on the people that you feel called to, or do you want me to go ahead and call on different people? And would you like for them to speak out loud, or did you want the questions to be typed?
Good questions. I will pick them if you're okay with that, and probably verbal will be better.
Okay, good.
So
So
I'm
you
going
pick
to
them.
pick
That
Aza,
sounds fun.
Azza. If I'm asked.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
Hi, Daniel. The night my son passed away, there was a scent in my room, and I don't know how it got there. I walked in and out because I thought, how could this be? And it was there.
So do you want to? Well, so let's just do this. I'm sorry for your loss, first of all. The first thing I have to talk about, and again, I always tell people that whatever comes through for me, I just trust it. Some things sound generic sometimes. Sometimes they sound obvious, but I just say it because I've learned to just say it, and you'd be surprised. So the first thing I want to talk to you about is the candle. So I don't know if you light a candle every day for. I mean, our candles are fairly common, so it wouldn't be a shock if you did. But how does the candle relate to you with your son?
The night my son passed away, I'm in Texas, and there was a storm, and I was at a hotel, and my husband, I thought he sent it as a joke, a candle of the Virgin Mary that I typically light. And it's usually either a Sacred Heart or a Virgin, and it's a scent of roses. So I lit it in the room, and we said a prayer. And then that morning, early morning, he must have passed away. So that night of the 19th, my son passed away early morning on the 19th, 3 or 4 in the morning, I don't know. That night I went into my room, and there was a very strong scent of the roses with oil. And I went out to my living room, and I asked my husband, did you light the candle? Which I didn't think he would, because he's Muslim and he just doesn't ever light my candles. He said, no, babe, I didn't. So I went back into my room, and it was still a very strong scent. And yesterday I told my mom, what candle should we light for Daniel?
Okay.
And
So yeah, go ahead. Sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead.
That's all.
Okay. So not only to let you know the validation that he is able to connect with you, even though he's not physically here, but a lot of times they'll reference things that happened recently so that you know that they're still with you. So when you had that conversation just yesterday with your mom about the candle of all things, know that he's with you. I have to talk about the J and the R, or it's JR. So I don't know if it's like a J name and an R name, or like JR.
That's my uncle who passed away a year before, and that was my son's best friend. His father.
Was it J or an
Junior.
R?
Junior.
Oh my gosh. Oh, okay. Wow. Okay. Now, who is that to you? Who is that to you?
That's my mom's brother. That's my uncle, my son's great uncle. We're very close. And my son Daniel was.
Okay, so the message is very feel good. They're having a great, I don't know, they usually don't tell me this the way they're telling me. So they're just like, we're having so much fun over here. It's crazy. It's like nothing you've ever experienced. It's like, so please know that I'm okay and he's okay and you guys are going to be okay and it's all good. It just feels like that makes sense to you. Where does a 7 come in? With a 7 is either the month of July or 7 years, 7 months, or the number 7. Could be a jersey number, could be the age that somebody passed, or an address, or the month of July.
In July, I'm supposed to go on a trip, but other than that, I don't know a 7 because he passed away the 19th. He was 27. He was going to be 27th, but nothing that rings a bell with July.
Where are you going on the trip?
We're supposed to go to Playa Car to Cancun.
Okay, so that's not it. No, it's got to be a different 7 because that's completely wrong. So either the month of July It could be 7 years, 7 months. It's not the truth.
Hey, well, I think it'll be 7 months that he'll be passed. Well, maybe March, April, May, June, July. No, that'll be 4 months.
Well, he's just recently. Oh my goodness.
Yes, he
Uh,
passed away February the 19th, 2021.
This is a stretch, but I'll say it only because my brother-in-law was here. My brother-in-law has a dog named Seven. So did he leave a dog behind? That's the only way I could make sense of it. That you take.
We have Charlie and Tally.
Okay. This is you're gonna. It's a weird way to do that, but I'll take it. My brother-in-law has a dog named Seven. When they were growing up, their dog's name was Charlie. So that's kind of wild. And they were both golden retrievers, just so you know. Not that matters, but I think we have to talk about the dog. Was one of them his dogs, or one of the ones that he was close to?
And we were just talking about the dogs yesterday, and I sent my husband a picture of the dogs, and my daughter's so upset about the dogs because I know they miss him. He was the only one that would groom them.
Yeah. He makes me feel like, no, Mom, they're all going to be good. You guys are all good. We're good here. You're good there. But there's no here and there. We're all together. We just don't realize it, is what they tell me that often. But what everyone on here, and why I feel like this is such a blessing that your son is offering to everyone is, and I want to talk to there's 143 people on here. That's how it works. When I see Seven, you say something's in the month of July. I wrote down a place that was nowhere near where Playa something. I wrote down Tennessee for whatever. So that was like boom, X. That's not it. You couldn't relate to anything else. My brother-in-law was actually here. It's kind of the reason why I was so late on here, because of my kids and everything. And their dog's name is Seven, and it's the dog's name. And I wouldn't have even thought of that if he wasn't just here. So I want to give kudos to your son for giving a lesson to all 140 people on here, because that's how mediumship works. It's not like I see it, at least for me anyway, for a lot of mediums. I don't see them. I can't really hear them. They give me like symbols and analogies, like a game of charades. And if he wasn't here, I wouldn't have even thought of his dog's name as Seven, and that their previous dog was named Charlie, which is the same. I'm not even kidding. That's like my wife's password for everything. Don't hack her stuff. But this is just a way that, and the reason I'm saying this and being a little long-winded is I wouldn't be shocked if he was the type of person to help people out in his life, and that he's continuing to do that, because
For sure.
I just got goosebumps. So everybody on here is taking a little note from that. It's like, man, spirit communication may not be what I think it is. It's very, and that's why I've gotten to trust it. And that's why I said, JR, which is the initial, so you just say it. So I want to thank your son for using that, and also giving everyone on here an opportunity to just understand a little bit more how it works, because a skeptic will say, no, well, you said 7 or July. No, it's not how it works. There's a dog named Seven, and you have a dog the same name as the dog he grew up with. What are the chances of that? So this is to let you know that it's all going to be okay. They're okay. We're all good. And that I'm still helping, and I'll always help. And he makes me feel like if you pay attention, so Daniel talk about the rainbow. So he wants to let you know that the rainbow is him. So just to let you know that I don't know what about it, but he's just making like you, and you already know. Like, I feel like it was him, but he's just like, tell her it was me. And like, I'm having so much fun doing this, but you don't need Daniel. You could do this on your own. Do you understand? Looks like you understand the rainbow thing.
That's my emoji for him, and everything is a rainbow, a diamond and a rainbow and a heart.
So that's his way.
And at his funeral, that was the song, one of the songs that I played, the Rainbow Connection and Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
Jeez. I mean, now, just for everyone on here and for your sake too, and rainbows are sort of common, but it's not only the songs, it's the emojis and the beautifulness of it, which is your relationship. He's giving me an analogy of the relationship you have, the beauty, but the connection that you two have, and I don't, not every reading is that strong after boom. It's his energy and your energy that's creating this.
I miss him so much.
I can only imagine. He puts a halo. So I don't know if like he calls you the angel, or you're his angel, or he's your angel, but there's something about the angel, and he's talking about the halo, and he's having so much fun with this. I know this is emotional and for you, but there's something about.
I bought a pillow, and it says, "We believe in angels here." And my Uncle Junior was so big on angels. I mean, everything was about an angel for my uncle.
Okay, so know that they're together. I have to talk about the Tic Tacs. or the tic tac or tic tac toe. It's one or the other.
Uh-huh.
You know,
Okay.
I just see the tic tacs. It's almost a. I would either say it's an inside joke or something that's very special. Is what I would tell you.
The
The feeling.
TikToks, I've been watching his TikToks.
Oh, tic tacs. Okay. See, they show up to me like tic tacs, and here's another example of how helping your son is, right? Helping parents heal. It's not the tic tacs, it's tic tocs. I just see tic tacs, but he made me say that. So to know that he makes me okay. So he's telling me, and I do get this sometimes, that he's very proud of how much you've grown in this short period of time, and that you've gotten to kind of understand a little bit more of why this is all happening. And that's and to give you a lot of kudos. That's not very common for this short of a period of time for them to show me how well you're doing about that. You know, some people can't watch those things for years sometimes, and so I want to give you credit for being able to handle some of this. He keeps giving me all these. I'm going to say it though, but this is, you know, I kind of joke, not joke with people, but I kind of say like, well, there's, you know, rainbows and ladybugs and feathers and dimes. There's all these things, but now he's talking about the butterflies for you. So is there something with butterflies too? So you got all these things.
Yes, I bought a butterfly and I put it in my backyard.
Okay.
And that's my mom's thing, a butterfly. And I have a butterfly on my dad's picture in a room that I made.
Sorry to interrupt you. He's talking about the big tree. Where's the big tree he's talking about? It's a huge tree, just one big tree.
I think it's the one in my mom's front yard.
Big tree, like big.
Where he lived. He lived with my mom.
Okay. This is not okay, so it's not about the tree anyway. Okay. Mom's still here. Your mom is still here?
Yes, she was actually gonna come and she's always with me, always with me. She said, I'm not gonna be able to make it today.
There's something about RC cola or cola. I can't, I don't like, who doesn't like cola, I guess, but so there's something with her with that. But I would tell you that she's grieving just as much, if not more, than you are for him. And I feel like you're going to be a strength for her, actually. And, you know, continue to grow because you're going to help her, actually. And, you know, someone might say, like, well, that's the grandma and that's the mom. But, you know, you're handling it to where you'll be able to help her with the understanding of the whys of why this all happened. He's showing me the crown. So I don't know if there's a Burger King thing or something about the crown or Crown Royal.
Oh my God. I ordered my mom a crown for her birthday. It's at my house. It's a big crown because she's been our queen. She's always holding us down. And her birthday's on Friday, and I bought her a big crown.
Well, sorry, I'm blocking my emotion right now. That's his way to let you know that he's with you and that in the relationship that you have with your mother and that you're going to be okay and that we're all good over here. He's just very happy-go-lucky to me, and just to let you know that he's in a great place. JR is coming up again. There's a little bit more of a trauma behind his passing, or more of a concern around his passing, but we're all good, you know, and they're drinking over there if they could drink, and they're just having fun. So just know that they're okay. And all these validations with the crown and the tree and the butterfly and the rainbow stuff is all just to let you know that he's strong, he's with you, he's seeing your conversations with your, does he have a sister or do you have a sister? That's not about the sister.
He has two sisters. I just dropped him off.
Who's the C? Like Charlotte or Charla? It may not be a sister, it could be a sister's friend. Sarah, Charla, Charla, Charlene, Chris.
Layali and Naz are the sisters.
Yeah, I have to talk about the C name that maybe they know the C name. I feel like it would either be Charlie or Carmen or Charla. It's a sh or ch name. Yeah, it's got to be more.
He has a friend named. I have a friend named Christy. That was just here.
Is she someone who's stepped up for you since he's passed? Someone who's been like. Okay, that's CH. Oh, so it could be CH. Is it Christy?
She has been. I don't let a whole lot of people in, but she.
Okay. So she may be able to help out, and your service broke up a little bit there. The energy is very strong here, but she may be able to help out the sisters too with
Yeah.
support. So let's
Yes,
maybe
she
let's
is.
okay, so let's continue to do that. There's something about bowling, so I don't know if there's a bowling game or a match or something like that. Just keep it in mind. But thank you for letting me bring him through. I
Oh,
really
thank you.
appreciate
Thank you so
it.
much, Daniel. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I love you, babe.
You can tell
Thank
him.
you.
No, he hears you. I mean,
I
I think
love you, babe.
he proved to you that he hears everything and does, everything you say to him. So know that, and we know you miss
Wow.
him. He's still with you.
I'm blown away and I will be forever grateful. Thank you so much, Daniel. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. I don't see any other hands. Oh, those are all hands. Oh my goodness. Whew. All right. Let's see who I'm drawn to. Let's do that. Cal.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yes. Hi.
Hi. So it's been 4 years since my son passed away. Um, I guess my question is more so, a lot of things in the first few years were so strong that I could not overcome things. Now, I guess my question is, how can I better connect with spirit? Because I'm in the time zone right now where I just feel like everything about him is drifting away, and it's kind of putting me into this guilt side of things and wondering, I don't want his death in vain. I'm just lost, and just wanted to kind of ask you, like, if you have any tips and tricks on how to further, or how to actually get that connection, because I feel very disconnected the last year.
Where
That
just
makes
really quick
sense.
before we get to the answer, where does the P come in, like Paul or Patrick? Now the name could be living or past. It could be your best friend. It could be your mom, your dad. Somebody who's here.
Brother named Paul.
Oh, you have a brother named Paul?
Yeah.
Oh, you keep flopping. So you said you have a brother named Paul? How is you just yet? We'll do yes or no questions. Is your relationship okay with Paul?
Um, it is not there.
Okay.
Yeah, our relationships are not
Where
there.
yeah, so you're getting to the answer here. Okay. I know this is common, but this is the most common name. But all right, so brother, so there is issues in the relationship with brother. Okay. Now I know this is the most common group of letters, but I have to say it if they give it to me. Who's M.A.? Mary, Max, Matthew, Maggie, Mark.
Um, I'm the only MA I know, and my grandmother.
Did you say you? Your name? I have Cal. There's Cal.
My full name is Michael, and my last name is Anau.
Oh, your initials are M.A.? Stop. I just thought your name was Cal. Okay, your initials is M.A.?
Yeah, for my legal name, it's Michael, and last name is Anau.
That's wild. Okay. So, and who was the other M.A. you said?
Grandmother. She just died last month, and I'm named after her.
Oh, cheapers. And you had a good relationship with her. She was your guide. She was someone who you could talk to about anything, correct? Yes. Sorry, you keep moving. You could talk to her. No, don't. I always tell people, don't just say it, because the way, and I'm not saying that you did, but because the way things come in, I need to have it validated to make sure I give you the right information. So did you have the type of relationship with her where you can talk to her about things that you couldn't talk to other people about?
Yes. Everything with her was, she was the rock that knew things that other people did not.
Okay. And who is there a Danny? or Danielle or Daniel? I know we talked about that with the other person, but
Quite a few, all three names.
all right, who are they? I'll see if I can figure out what they're trying to say.
Danny's my uncle, whose wife just died as well. We lost 8 people in the family this past year. Danny's wife just passed. And then Danielle is my sister-in-law that my brother just got married to. And Daniel is another cousin.
All right, so what else can I tell her? Okay, where does the peanut butter and jelly come in? I'm so sorry. It's actually looking like jelly, but there's peanut butter on it. It's the weirdest thing. It's got to be specific too, because like who doesn't eat peanut butter and jelly once in a while? Who doesn't pack it for their kids? Did you make one recently? Have you been craving it? Did someone bring it up? Did your person who passed away love it? Did your grandma used to make it for you? But it wouldn't just be once in a while.
The only thing that comes up with peanut butter in my mind is after my son died, my sister brought peanut butter little snacker things every single week for the last 3 years.
Your sister.
Yeah, that's the only thing I can think of with peanut
Yeah, well,
butter, but
that's
it's
okay.
crazy because it meant a lot.
Yes. So are you on good terms with your sister?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Not that you're beating around the bush, but I don't want to, sounds like such a cop-out answer, but this is what they're telling me. Can I give you, oh, okay. Sorry. So it's a timing thing. And I kept saying to them, like, I don't want to just tell her that, but then they're going to speak through me in a second. But then they show me a clock. It's like, okay, tell her it's a timing thing. So it's not that you're any more distant from him. In fact, if anything, I think from the day one until we transition to, we're literally together. We just don't realize it, as best as I can explain it. But as far as a timing thing, part of the issue with your lack of connection is it's you. And I don't mean to say that in a mean way, like it's your fault, but sometimes we are our own block. Now again, I know that we talked about dogma and religious, the affinity. That's not true, but I'm a big Jesus follower, but it has nothing to do with religion. But I talk about him because he taught us a lot of things. It has nothing to do. But there's this man that came here, regardless of what religion you are. And he said his father's house has many mansions. And I've read a lot of books about his teachings and other teachings too. But I feel that when he said that, it means that we are all at different vibrations. Because remember, we're energy. They've proven that 99% of us is just energy. And Einstein says energy cannot be created or destroyed. So that's why eternal life exists, and we can be altered and things like that. But when you operate at a lower vibration and you're in a lower mansion, sometimes we aren't able to get information as easily because it's almost like tuning a dial. If the antenna is not the right way, we can't get the station. So 50% of the issue is the antenna needs to be moved. How do we fix that? I include it in my book. And even if you do some of these things, this isn't a bad thing. This is just an educational thing. Prayer, meditation, eating properly, exercising, not watching the news, smiling, doing nice things for other people, donating your time and energy. You know what I mean? Things like that. I'm not saying you don't do that, but I feel like the more you do that, the more you move the antenna and the more you're able to connect. That's 50% of it, is what it feels like to me. So not that you need to take the blame, but I'm just here to tell you that those are some of the things you can do to help better connect, because it's not like he's any further away. He's literally in the same place. That's half of it. The other half is, it's a little heavier, is, how do I say that? Do I just say it like that? It's so direct, and I guess you'll know because they're not telling me. The universe is trying to like show you something over and over and over again, and you're not like listening, you're not seeing it. I feel like it may have to do with work. So I don't know, are you a teacher? Do you teach?
No, I'm not.
What do you do? Well, is there a career? Well, why do I get teacher then? What do you do for work, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm an authorizer.
Can you low up your, like, put your volume up a little bit, if you don't mind?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, it comes like in and out. Oh, there you go.
Is that helpful?
Yeah.
Okay. I am an authorizer, so I do auditing for an airline industry.
Where does the teaching come in?
Because I'm everyone's new hire trainer. Everything comes through me. Supervisor training comes
Okay.
through me.
Have there been any career aspirations, changes, feelings like over the last like year, I'd say?
For quite some time, I've just been sitting on it. It's one of those where I like have these dreams on this side of my brain, but the world is working me on this side of the clock.
Okay.
And I feel like I have to try to find that balance.
And I think the reason you use the analogy clock without knowing it is because it's a timing thing. And I feel like the universe is like, hey, Cal, or M, whatever your name, A, whatever your name is, you're missing this. You're having even opportunities. Then you're like, nope. And you're like kind of looking away. And you're like, so the universe wants you to be like, oh, yeah. And I think you're going to be able to take your training skills, teaching, and be able to utilize them somewhere else. And so what I want you to do over the next 4 months is pay attention, because, and pray about it too, to God, Allah, universe, source, whatever, to the where we come from, higher being. Hey, guide me, show me, what do I need to do to help me be on my best path, at my higher vibration, and in a higher mansion. And I feel like in a combination between the timing thing, paying attention to the signs, and adjusting your antenna, doing all the things I mentioned before, all of a sudden he's just gonna like be like, hey, Mom, I'm still here. Is it your son or daughter? I apologize.
My son.
He said, and he's gonna be like, hey, Mom, I'm still here. Like, I was here the whole time, but now you're paying attention. And so, and it's gonna like start to flow, and you're gonna get back into that rhythm again. So that's what I feel like I want to tell you. And like, Ma, don't forget the songs. Like, don't you hear the songs. Don't think that it's not anything. So I don't know if you hear the music or you hear that song played, but he's reminding you that that song or that music is like, and it's not just once. He's making me feel like that's a way that you understand this.
Yes.
You get the song?
That's the only way I feel connected with him is through music.
Yeah, there's a lot more opportunity to build on the music, because think about it, there's hundreds and thousands of signs, and the music is probably more common, right? We'll be honest. But if that's your one, let's expand on that. Pay attention, trust, do those things. As I mentioned before, diet, exercise, smiling, stop watching the news. That's just my little personal thing. I noticed when I stopped watching it, it was just like my vibration was higher. I didn't, someone will tell me, oh, did you hear that? Like, no, I really didn't. But, and usually 9 times out of 10, it's something bad I don't want to hear anyway. So it's like, all right, well, send them lots of prayers. But I don't know if you watch the news and why, if I'm saying that, but I feel like that could be part of they make me say things that, a lot of times we get caught up in media and a lot of the negativity that comes, unfortunately. And I think like if you continue to do those things, you're going to be great. And I wouldn't think it's more than 4 to 6 months where you're back to where you were or greater with your connection with him, and know that the songs are still him, but he's got so much more. We just got to line you up, and it's a timing thing. And pay attention to career, because I wouldn't be shocked within 6 months, by the fall or a little bit later, that you'll be in a whole new career. But teaching is where you're, are you around a big birthday, like 30, 40, 50? Are you something like a big birthday coming up or near that?
I just turned 34 last week.
That's not huge. So 35, I guess, could be. Yeah, it's coming, but just pay attention. And I feel like you're just, not that you're like behind, but just make sure you pay attention to those signs. I wouldn't be shocked if career changes, which will get you back on the right track. Because I feel like your passion, correct me if I'm wrong and tell me I'm wrong, that you like teaching and helping people.
That is everything my life pushes for.
So I wouldn't be shocked if someone looked at your birth chart and like the universe is going to get you to where you need to be. God doesn't mess up. Universe, Allah, source, whatever you call it, does not mess up. But we as human beings can sometimes be stuck in that other side of the mind. And we're like, I'm just going to keep doing my thing. And like, oh my gosh, I'm missing all these signs. Well, let's bring you back to here so you can get that full view. And I think career has a lot to do with it. And the songs are going to keep coming. They're not going to stop. And there's something I know. I always tell people I don't do genres, but there is something with country. I will tell you. I don't know what it is, but there's something with some kind of country song. Do you know about the country song or whatever?
Country and reggae is all soul for me.
What's that?
I said country music and reggae is all soul, great vibes for me. And it's not the usual nowadays. It's old music.
Yeah. Well, keep up.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. I think it's going to just make its way. But if you haven't read the book, I'm not here to promote it. But in here, I talk about how you can raise your vibration with forgiveness, maybe patching it up with the P name or whoever the person you have the relationship with. That will be opportunities for you to raise your vibration. When I went, and I'll stop talking and let you go in a second. When I went through this whole spiritual growth thing, one of the things Spirit told me was I needed to forgive everybody for everything. And I made this in chapter 11. I channeled an exercise where you go through all the people that you have like grudges for, and you need to forgive. And you'd be shocked at some of the names and things that just come into your mind, and you just forgive them. Some people you write them a letter, some people you call, some people you just forgive them and don't contact them. But then you're like, no worries, no stress, no, it's all good. I don't hold any grudges. And then someone will continue to do something to you, and you're like, it's okay. Like, it hurt, it didn't feel good. But it's okay. It's part of the plan and part of people just being, it just happens. So then you get on that high vibration, and then you don't even need a medium. One of the things I do is teach people how to connect to their people without someone like me, because you really don't need me. You can connect to him all your own, whether it's a song or, any kind of sign or whatever. We just need to pay attention. Don't stretch it, but you'll be back there in 4 to 6 months. Just do all those things. That's what I feel.
Thank you so much. I resonate with all of it. Appreciate you.
Thank you. This full moon has got me all dehydrated and all messed up. Thank you for letting me bring that through. And the reason I think I didn't pass on messages to you from your son is I think he wants to do it himself, to be honest with you. And whether if I give someone else a reading or whether I just gave the reading for her son, that was his way. But I feel like every spirit has their own way. And I think he wanted me to talk you through that so he can connect to you without me. No offense to me, but there's something about the hats with him he wants to talk about. So know that. All right, who am I drawn to here? It's funny, Cal, and those are your initials, M.A. That's wild. I think it would be different if your name was M, but that's really cool. That name jumped out to me. Who's this? That happened for a reason. Let's try it. Thanks for being with us tonight, everyone. Hi, Caroline.
Hi.
Wherever you are.
My question was if children who pass by suicide have a different experience when they first cross over.
Different than others' death by suicide?
Different than children who pass by natural causes or accidents.
Good question. From my experience, I've probably done 100 to 150 readings for someone who had a death by suicide. And there's a range of messages and things that they talk about. The majority of them, believe it or not, I get nervous saying this in front of a lot of people. I don't say this in public, but the majority of them have no regrets. They have regrets about how it made someone feel or sometimes certain details about it, but the majority of them, like, it was their way to move on to the next stage of life. And they explain that to me. There's a stigma, there's a judgment on certain dogmatic views with certain religions that they may not be in a good place. But every single time I've done a reading for someone who had a death by suicide, they are okay, they are good. And I'm not just saying that. Like, they've showed me the ways, I've seen things that are hard to talk about, but they're all good. As far as a difference between a standard, I don't think I would say that there is one, because I've had ranges within and without that way of passing. But what can I tell you? What do I need to tell you? Okay. I don't see you, but are you a thinker?
I would say so.
Okay. Because I don't know who it is telling me this, but someone's saying it's not what you think. It's like not what you think. And there's really no way to fully describe it. Oh, say that. So, for certain souls, there is opportunity for some specific learnings and teachings and growings and things like that. But from what I've experienced, the majority of them, it was, and forgive me for this, but this is just what I've experienced between my readings and my books that I've read. It's a way out for the soul. And it affects, even though it affects a lot of people in a quote unquote negative way, there's a lot of positive things that come from it, from a lot of passings, whether it be self-inflicted or others. And I feel like the self-inflicted ones are just as powerful, if not more, because there's something behind that maybe someone else was thinking about it, and they decide not to, or maybe there's all kinds of things. But what I want to tell everyone here tonight is, true from my experience and from what I understand, true life is not this. I know it sounds weird to some people, but it's not. Our true lives are with God in spirit, in a form that is not human. This is all temporary. And when we get to that place, which JR and I don't know her other, the first one's sons was, and they're having a grand old time. That's what a lot of spirits talk about. And the ones that pass in that manner talk about that the exact same way. It's very rare that there's something that either needs to be worked on or something like that. I would say 85 to 90% are part of the plan. Well, they're always part of the plan, but it was just the way for that soul to move to the next stage of life. As hard as it is to hear that, there's another part of that you can look at that as a real blessing, because they're always good. Who's Kevin or Kelvin or Kyle? There's a K name, I think. Now it could be.
No one I can think of.
Yeah, it definitely is. So Kenny, Kyle, Carla. It's a C or K sounding name. It's very strong.
Well, I'm Caroline.
No, it wouldn't be you, because even though I don't have it in my mind, I called on you. It would be another C or K, and I would think it'd be more like a K for me. Kyle, Carla. It feels like Kenny, Kevin, Kelvin. It's something like that. It feels like it's
Well, we have a Kevin in heaven
oh,
in our circle.
okay. Is that a friend?
Yes, a neighbor, child.
Oh, another child?
Yes.
Where's the commonality? Did they know each other? I don't know.
Oh yeah, they were neighbors.
So your loved one that's passed, which I'm assuming is a son or daughter, knows Kevin?
Yes.
Where's the commonality? Did they pass the same way, or did they have the same birthday? I know they live in the same street, obviously, but were they the same grade? Did they play the same sport?
They're the same age.
Same age. No, it's more than that. Did they have the same girl? They're talking about more though. Same girlfriend, same birthday, same. Did they pass the same way? There's something about the similarity that's more than the age. And the
No, just the mother. His mother and I are friends, and he's just another child that passed.
One of them's funny because. Who's Shelly or Shelby? Shannon?
We know a Shelby, but I wouldn't say she was significant to my son.
How is she significant to you or anyone around?
She's just a friend of my daughter.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not a super common name. Shelby, you said?
Right.
Did I say Shelby?
I'm sorry.
Did I say Shelby? Was that
Yes,
one of the names?
Shelby's a yes.
I don't mean that
Shelby's
sarcastically. I just forget what I say, and that's not a super common name.
Right.
The sister is your daughter.
Yes.
Is she traveling, moving?
Not right now. She's away at college.
Oh, okay. Well, that would come through the same way to me.
Yeah.
You talk to her often? Because I feel like oh man, he's okay. I don't know who you said you. And I apologize. You said you lost your son, or I don't even know if you said.
Yes. Yes.
He's circling the two of you, so I don't know if you need to get together, or call more often, or something. But you need each other more right now. Right now, especially, I think she needs you. You need her. He's circling the both of you. So I don't know if he wants you to physically get together or increase the amount of communication, but there's something about the physical need for you to be together right now. Is she coming
Okay.
home soon?
She comes home a lot.
Okay. So is that difficult for her? Is it far or is it
It's close.
oh, it is close. No, there's something I have to talk about. It's we need it either more or there's something restricting it. So help me out with that. What he's trying to say, if you don't mind. I feel like she needs. Oh, so is she coming home like a lot, like more than what someone might come home from college? Because he's getting at something here. I'm just not. I can't-
Probably because she's, virtual learning. So she's here more often than a college kid would be because she's got her computer and learning anywhere she can.
Okay,
So I do see her a lot.
good. Well, oh, is that where you're going with this? Okay. Now I know you probably he's making me feel like you won't understand or agree with this, but I'm going to say it anyway. There's something that she wants to talk to you about that she has not talked to you about. So, and you might, as a mom, say no. She tells me everything. There is something, and he wants you to talk to like open it up. So you won't know this because there's something you don't know about. So you may say to her like, however you want to word it. I really feel like there's something you want to talk to me about, and I feel like it has to do. I don't know. I'm not okay, multiple things. It may have to do with his passing, but also a relationship, but also something with a school, like a program or a sorority or a organization or something with one of her classes. So there's multiple layers of things that she just really, I don't know why she hasn't really talked to you about, but I think there's opportunity for more conversations that maybe you just say, hey, you can talk to me about anything. And she just
Right.
opens up the floodgates. But I feel like something's there. And I want you
Okay.
to, I feel like he wants you to let her know that she can talk to you about anything.
Okay.
Can you understand that might be a possibility?
Sure.
Before you go, what was the Kevin name again? Oh, that was the, okay. And then I got the SH name again. Who was that? Now, the Shelby, oh, that's the sister. Oh, does Kevin have a sister?
Yes.
Oh, see how that, so, okay. Another seer, is she also a seer cat?
Yes.
Oh, she is? No way.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So can you let her know, the sister and or the mom, because one of them will believe in mediums, one of them won't, he says. But I feel like I want the sister to go see a medium.
Okay.
Not me, whoever, but some, John 4:1, test the spirits, make sure it's someone who's really doing God's work and someone who's really doing it for the right things. But I feel like your son, just like the first person's son, and not that the second person's person wasn't like this, but I feel like he's taking the opportunity to help, which means he would be a helper in life as well. And he jokes that you need to take responsibility for how much you influence him in that positive way. Take that for what you'd like, but that's a compliment to you from him. But he wants to take this opportunity to tell Kevin's sister with a C or K name that she could really benefit by going to see a medium.
Okay.
Mom may not believe in it, or vice versa. I would guess it's the daughter who's a little, maybe just because she's younger. And I don't mean to be like, age-wise or age discrimination, but he makes me feel one of them will be a little bit more open than the other. And I would guess, and I could be wrong, but that the sister could really benefit by going to see a medium. He's almost making me feel like not both of them will sit down and talk to one, but the one will really benefit from it. And I think it's
Okay.
and he's with Ray.
Ray.
Ray or Rob, an R name. I'm with R. Ray Rob.
His grandfather is Robert.
Oh, wow. Passed?
Yes.
Okay. He's being funny. Like, do I say that? He makes me feel like, no, you got to take that, Ma. He's really with me. I'm really with him. So somebody needs to know that. So I don't know if it's your dad or the husband's dad or whatever, but know that he's with that person.
Okay, great.
And thank you for letting me bring your child.
Thank you. Thank you, Daniel.
Yeah. Energy is strong tonight. These. All right, who am I talking to? Maggie?
That's me. I have been listening to a lot of Audible books. I just bought yours, by the way, while we've been sitting here, and I'm so happy you read it. Anyway, a couple of them have stated that if you're grieving a lot or grieving too much, that you can keep your child from progressing in the spirit world, and that it could make them be earthbound. And I feel guilty, but it isn't like you can say, okay, stop grieving. I mean, my son just died in December, and it was a shock of my life and the worst thing that's ever happened. So how can I just try and not grieve in order to help him? But I would do anything for him.
Yeah, that's. Let me take a second. I want to see you. Can you?
I'm here.
Are you? You're not Caroline, no?
No, I'm Maggie Price.
Let's see. Okay, I want to look at you. Let's see. All right. Well, maybe I don't need to. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, there you are. Hi. That worked.
Hi.
All right. Sorry for your loss. I feel like there's limited truth to that. I have heard that. Let me put it in this perspective. And I'm not just blowing smoke to make it sound all like sunshine and rainbows over there, even though that's all they've told me that it is. Now, that being said, I only connect to energies that are at a high vibration. So there could be a whole bunch of other stuff going on over there that I don't know about, but everything I've experienced is all like beautiful, and they talk about it as if it's like the best ever. But all right, I'll have to talk about that. Hold on. I was going to answer her question. So let me put it this way. I've heard that our feelings and grief can affect the spirit world, even though we're all in the same world. But I feel like it's more of a positive only thing. And I'm not just saying that. So let's put it this way. So here's you, and this is the effect you can have on the spirit world. This is the positivity, and this is the limitations. Okay. So even if you're just here, you're really not affecting it that much. You might have this is just my understanding. This isn't truth, but this is just from what I've read. I've read like hundreds of books on like NDEs, and the books I've read in the last 4 years, I put a list on my website. But this is how I would say it. And I do feel like the Holy Spirit speaks to me. Can you have an effect on your loved one in spirit? Yes. Can it be an effect that may not be positive? I think so. But I almost feel like it almost goes just this far. But the amount of all the other things you do, whether it's thinking about him or her or loving them or a memory or whatever, there's that much. You're not holding, is it your son or your daughter? I apologize.
My son.
I'm sorry for your loss. You're not holding him back. I don't think it works like that. I have never heard it to work like that. Could it? Sure. Do we have an effect with our mind and our thoughts on the spirit world because we're part of that world? I do think, because I think we're all energy. And when we send a thought energy out there, we do that. And I have had spirits tell me that they haven't told me they've held anyone back, but they've told me that they're lighting a candle or, saying a prayer or setting a dinner table, place at the dinner table, or all these things that helps them. No one's ever told me that by someone grieving too hard, it hurts the person in spirit. They have told me that by grieving so hard, it can actually affect your energy, but I don't think you're going to hold him back. So drop the guilt. He's talking about the roller coaster. Do you have a picture of him on the roller coaster? They usually use that as an analogy for me for someone who's going through ups and downs, but I have a different symbol for that because who isn't going through ups and downs in life with the pandemic? Where's the roller coaster? Did someone just go to Six Flags, or did someone love roller coasters?
No.
Yeah, it's got to be because I'm put on a roller coaster. And are you using that because you can't use the yo-yo? Because my symbol for someone who's going through ups and downs is a yo-yo. The roller coaster they've used before, but they don't use it when it doesn't have to do with an actual amusement park or a roller coaster. So are you looking to go to Disney or like Six Flags, or was there discussion to go to a park?
We loved going to Disney. All of us. That was the big thing for us.
With your son?
With our son, but not for many years, but that was something he loved. But
you still had pictures from either the roller coaster or the park, or who doesn't have pictures if they went to Disney? Where are you going? Oh, okay. Hold on. All right, that's a lot of information. By the way, where's California come in for you?
That's where I am.
Are you really? No way. What are the chances of that? Okay. So I'm assuming you went to Disneyland. Just 'cause it's out that way.
Yes.
See how it's all connecting. I had California already written down. Disneyland memories. Okay. Okay. Oh, all right. Hang on a second. Okay. He's making me feel like Mom, wouldn't you think I would give a multi-layered message? Usually that means they were either smart or very scientific or very just smart. Was he smart?
Very, very smart.
Okay. So the roller coaster he used, thank you. I got it. Thank you. Because yes, Mom, I've been through your ups and downs, right? And don't forget, Mom, what I'm telling you is, the ups are like, you're getting nervous, boom, and then it's down, and it's like it's all this range of emotions, and he's been with you experiencing that. But I also wanted to tell Daniel to tell you that I had a great childhood, and I really enjoyed a lot of the things we did, and I want my soul to tell your soul, he says, and I know this is hard to say in human terms, but I'm just going to tune into what he's saying is, this was part of the plan. Your soul knows it, even though the human part of you does not. And so
I hear that.
he's almost like cheering you on from where he is to let you know that you got this. This was something that we planned together in the spirit world to go through this so that you can do boom, 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 boom. And this boom, 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 boom is going to involve a lot of people. It's going to involve the male figure who's very prominent. I don't know if your husband is, or if you're married as a mayor, there's someone who's a male figure who's very either famous or has a lot of money, or someone who's going to piggyback with all the things you're going to do in relation to his passing. And my whole arm is goosebumps. Do you know about this man or this plan with it? Do you know about this yet? It might be early on because it's only been a few months.
I mean, there's a possibility. There's a possibility.
Okay. So I could see the story being in a book, or it's going to be, I don't know if it's going to be a movie or something. I don't know the whole situation, but there's something greater to the story, and you know it's coming. So continue to follow. Do you understand this?
I do. I especially know that there was a part of me in my soul that knew this would happen or knew this would happen.
Yeah, and that's who he wants to speak to. But don't forget, okay, thank you. Don't forget the amount of joy that you gave him. You cannot deny the amount of good times that you guys had. And he almost makes me feel like, how do I say that? That he would share with you things that most kids don't share with their moms. And I'm just going to say this because he's making me and I'm sorry for everyone on here, but if they tell me to say it, I say it. But something about you knew when I lost my virginity, you knew when I, was with this girl, or you knew, it's those type of things that he talked about with you. Does that make sense to you? Do you know?
And we traveled the country going to music together, and most mothers were not at these concerts. I'll put it that way.
Right.
Fish.
We had that. We will always have that. He said, tell her your line right now. I always tell people that the only thing we get when we leave this world is the love we gave and the love we received. And he makes me feel like the amount of love between you was you couldn't have got any more. And it was just the time. And as hard as it is, and he says that you miss me, your soul will continue to understand this is part of the plan. You're going to be doing this thing with this man who's either famous or rich or something. He's not in the standard of but in earthly terms, he's making me feel like he's prominent, who's going to either help tell his story or start an organization or just something coming. And it's actually going to be pretty quick. I think it would be within the year that he passed. So if it's not in his last 4 or 5 months, it's coming up. And I feel like movie, show, something, but there's something. And it'll happen. It already happened. So we don't realize it. We're in a space-time continuum, but we're living it now. But it already happened, and he's letting you know, and your soul already knows it's going to happen. So continue to trust that because it's happening. Okay. Sunflowers or the yellow pollen of the flower. So I don't know if there's something with the dandelion, whatever the yellow flowers is what I'm just going to say.
Well, the thing about that is that I'm allergic to those things. So we've been keeping flowers all around the house since he died, and my husband has to remove those from all of the lilies so that I won't have an allergic reaction.
No way. Okay. So he's kind of and there's another R name for you, but he's telling me that I left you in good hands. And it's not just the husband. I feel like you have other males actually and other people around you in general, and females, making me feel like it's equal, Daniel. But that you have as a big support system, and they're going to help you right along. Did you make me think of that? Okay, so something, you ever seen the poem Footprints with where Jesus There's one set of footprints. Do you have that poem somewhere? Was it something he liked, or because if not, he could be just using it as an analogy.
No,
Okay, so I think it's a trusting God thing. Do you have faith? Are you believe in God? Okay, so know that during those times where you need help, he's almost like acting like Jesus, because we all, John 14:12, we're all can be like Jesus, but he's making me feel like you're never going to be without support from him, and without the support that you have. Not a lot of people have the support system you do. You either have royalty or famousness or something. There's something in your family. You don't have to say it, but there's something around you that's like either, I don't know what's either. It's hard to explain. Do you know what? If you don't know, just yes or no. Do you know what I'm talking about? If you don't, okay. Then you're gonna hook up with someone who's gonna help you tell the story or something. But there's more to this, so it makes sense to you. But just know you're in good hands.
Thank you.
You may not that you care about this, but you may be financially secure from this thing, because it's not about that, because we leave the money behind anyway. But he wants to mention it because that's just a little extra part of what you're going to be doing, because more about what we do to help others is just to help others, right? That's why we're all here tonight. But there's going to be some other rewards in it for you, at least, and you can enjoy them. He's almost like giving you permission to enjoy them.
Thank you.
And Ray, Robert, it's coming up for you as well. Rachel, Randy.
Rachel is one of my best friends, sort of his Auntie Rachel, Auntie R.
Will you let her know that he brought up her name? Because I think she might be a little bit more on the skeptic side with this, and I think she'd be impressed with, like, this guy said Rachel out of all things. So do you think she might understand that? Or is she a little bit more on, like, mediums? I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. So you can maybe show her this. I know it's being recorded, but there's tons of names, tens of thousands of names. There's only so many R names, but Rachel, like I think it was the third name we said. He's able to give me that. And I would think that she's going to be involved. She's going to be involved with whatever you're doing. Is she that good of a friend?
Yeah.
Yeah. She's got passion for whatever's coming. Whatever this thing you're doing, she's got passion for it. She's going to be a very good asset for you.
Wonderful.
So make sure you involve her. Did you just fix something today, or do you have his tools? I got to talk about the screwdriver.
No.
Did you fix, or do you have his tools? Because they showed me a screwdriver. You either just screwed something in today or use a screwdriver, or I have to talk about the tools.
He didn't have tools, but I know there are things that he would want us to be fixing right now.
Yeah, no, they don't do that. So I would check with your husband or anybody close who just literally use a screwdriver. It's very specific. Okay. Maybe you fixed the little door, or if you say maybe tonight you get out, you're done with this call, and your husband, or if you're married, says, "Hey, where's the screwdriver?" And you're like, I've had those kinds of things happen too. And who's the perfectionist? Who's the one that has to have it perfect?
Well, my son was that way. He really was.
Okay, so am I supposed to, you sure he did, so he didn't leave any tools? Was there any other things he left behind that were like tools? Is the only thing, he's making me go back to that for some reason.
Well, there were some tools in his car. I mean, we've kind of been avoiding going through the boxes of things from his car because it's painful.
Yeah. So you may find a screwdriver in there, I'm not sure. Kenny Chesney, Kenny Rogers. Where's the country? Kenny Chesney, Kenny Rogers. Yes.
No country. No country.
No, Kenny. Yeah. So Kenny Rogers, Kenny Chesney. I'll tell you right now. Unless there's a Kenny, somebody named Kenny.
Not that I can think of.
Then even if it's not country for you, you would be shocked. You may be listening to a pop station, all of a sudden Kenny Rogers comes on. I mean, there's something with Kenny Chesney, Kenny Rogers. It's one of the two of them, or Kenny Loggins. It's a Kenny. It feels like Kenny something or Ken. And now you'll even see some of the piggybacking, right? From your reading to hers, the R name, the whatever else over there. I feel like there were some similar things. California roller coaster. Get on roller coaster. Disney pictures. Okay, so the pictures will be something that will come along with the tools over time, and that you will continue to grow and be able to celebrate those memories, and the pain will turn into happiness as years go on. And even though you'll always miss me, he says sarcastically funny, I'm here obviously, and it'll get easier to celebrate my life because we had such a good life together, and we still do. It's just that he's moved on to a different phase. But to know that can you give me something else? That's it. Ready Whip. Where's the Ready Whip or the whipped cream?
My husband, he is constantly squirting that and using that, and he gives it to our dog, who was very close to my son.
No way. Really? To the dogs?
Just a little.
No. The whipped cream, the spray with
Well, it's a really good way to get them to take medication.
Isn't that wild? That's not only his way to let you know that this is him, but to let you know that he's still with you, with dad in the house, with the dogs. He's still part of everything. So I think that might impress your husband of all things. He makes me feel like I had to give one thing to dad. Who's the military? Who's in the military?
My father, who was, I'd love to think they're together. My father was in the Navy.
What was his name?
William. Bill.
He's talking about the flowers too. Okay, so there's something about the support system that your father also wants to talk about. It's like you're never going to be left without the amount of support that you need in this world, ever. So even though your father's gone, or your father's in spirit, your son is in spirit, even though they're still with us, you physically have a support system that you can really lean on. And I feel like your father and your son are like, they wouldn't have left it any other way. So I don't know if they were protective or very caring or both, but you're all set with that. You know, you miss us, right? And they have different personalities, but somewhat the same. They're actually the same, but different. It's really weird. But the point being is they would never have left you without.
I appreciate that.
You understand that?
And it serves my dad right, because he didn't believe in any of this.
He does now. He does now.
My dad ended up in the afterlife when he didn't believe it existed.
Yeah, we all do. We all do. I've actually had some spirits come through where the person was like, it's not them. There's no way it's them. They didn't believe in this. I'm like, well, it's them, and they do now, because that's where they are. I'm going to say this, and I don't know if this is dad or your son, but someone's showing me a watch or a pocket watch or it's nice. I don't know if it's one of those ones that has a chain on it. It came up last night in my reading, but it's a nice watch. Who's got the watch?
I have all those from my grandfather.
Is it like a Rolex or a really nice? It's nice.
Well, my husband's mother has a Rolex, and we've been involved in trying to get it to wind for her recently, within the past few weeks.
That's the message. So you guys are the okay. So you and your husband, you're married, you said?
Yes.
Where's the R again? Who was the R again? Sorry.
I was with one of my best friends, Rachel.
Okay. There must be another R, Robert or Roy or Roger, but you can figure that out later. Okay. Are you guys like caregivers, or are you like the people come to your house? Are you the place where people come, or do you help out a lot of people? I almost feel like you and your husband are the middle, the glue, the nucleus.
Well, my husband cares for his 91-year-old mother at her place, and then I'm the glue that holds my workplace together, the mother confessor, the everything. Okay. I'm the only one that can deal with our boss. I'm the one. They bring every problem to me.
So you're okay. So, but I don't think you give yourself enough credit for the nucleus that you provide for your family as well. Kids, grandkids, I don't know if you have them, but
that was it.
What's that?
Zach was our only child.
There's more family though.
Oh, there is, yeah. And I do that. I'm the one that does the family Zoom every week and tries to corral the cats into it. Okay.
So therefore, he wants me to talk about your purpose and why you're still here. To continue to do that, know that he's good over there. Don't climb the ladder. I don't know if you're thinking about climbing the ladder. There's something like that. So be very careful on the ladder. You understand this?
Mm-hmm.
Tell me.
Because we have things to do in the house, and I'm always thinking about doing them myself.
Is a ladder involved?
Well, we have a ladder.
Okay. If there's anything that you're going to do where you're like, all of a sudden you do it and you think back to right now,
Okay.
don't do it. Either have someone else. There's other people that can do it for you. He said, feel like it's a little bit of a, okay, Ma, you can only, you're doing all this stuff. Just be careful on the ladder. It just pops in.
Okay.
I know. And then one last thing. Okay. And then I want to make sure when they show me earrings, it either means the earrings or I have to talk about another thing, which it's usually more common the earrings. Did he give you them? Did you try?
My mother-in-law just gave me a couple weeks ago a beautiful pair of earrings that she felt Zach had told her to get for me.
No way.
And they're beautiful. They're red crystals with little hearts dangling, and I love hearts, and he knows I love hearts. And
So that's just confirmation that it really was him telling her to do.
I have goosebumps right now from that because
Perfect. There's a book I want to tell you about called Acorns from Heaven. It just popped into my head.
okay.
So, I forget who it's by, but it's Acorns from Heaven. I think it's a pretty quick read, but it's just how they can have people do things for them with thought. And he's just confirming that with the earrings, which was just a couple weeks ago. How beautiful is that?
Yeah, thank you. I love that. Thank
Well,
you so much.
much love to you, and I'm interested to see how this next 6 months plays out with whatever this thing is. So
I do. Thank you.
follow the signs and trust.
Thank you
Thank you.
so much.
Thank you. So Elizabeth, how long are we going here?
It depends on you because obviously we still have 143 people here. We usually, go. I think the last time that you were on, you did about 15 minutes longer, but it depends on you because it sounds like you have your brother-in-law here. Is that correct?
Oh no, he lives down the street, but
Oh, he lives down the street.
but
Okay.
he does, well, not down the street, maybe 5-10 minutes away, but it's not over that often, and that's why I think it's funny that the one woman's son used 7 of all things, and that Charlie as well. Let's do one more reading.
Well, you definitely are on fire. That's what everybody is talking about in the chat box. It's just amazing. And thank you for doing all of this. And
Yes.
I'll help you find the next person, or you go ahead and find the person. I've been spotlighting them to let you be able to see them. So I'll
Okay.
spotlight the person after.
Yeah, spirit spot on. I always tell people it really does not have much to do with the medium. It's all, I mean, it's the energy of the person we're giving the reading to and the person in spirit. If we just do the things that I put in the book, the nice things that I was telling to the first person is smile and do all those things, they can connect with all of us. So we're all capable of that. I feel like we all are.
Well, I just want to say that I put the name in the chat box. I need to put it up on our recommended reading list for Helping Parents Heal so that people can find it easily. So I do have, okay, why are we here? So I will definitely put it on by Daniel John. Thank you for
Great book.
reminding me.
Great book. But I always tell people it's on Amazon. Read the reviews before you get it. There is another book I highly recommend. It's called The Medium Explosion by Robert Ginsberg. And a lot of grieving people will just go to mediums. And this Medium Explosion book kind of helps you take a step back and make sure that you research them and do the right things before you jump into just go seeing medium after medium. So I really like that book. And there's another book called Good Grief by Teresa Caputo. And it's a really, really, really good book. I've read it multiple times, and she's just a really good author, and she's a good person. I know the media has not been super friendly to her, but her book, Good Grief, I recommend to everybody all the time. It's phenomenal.
Well, I will write that in the chat box as well. And I really appreciate the fact that you've mentioned your book because you didn't tell me about your book before you came on. So I'm glad that you're talking just a tiny bit about it right now. And it's wonderful that we're able to let people know. It looks like a lot of people have already ordered it. So that's a good thing. And I'm just writing Teresa. Is that with a TH or a TEREA? Do you know? The essay, sorry.
I think it's THERS.
Okay, Teresa.
She's the Long Island medium.
Yeah, no, I know. I never know how to spell Teresa, but go ahead if you'd like to. We can stay on, and of course, I know that there's probably not very many people who want to move an inch. So I'll mute myself and I'll help you out. And thanks so much, Daniel.
Yeah, no worries. Let's see, man, look at all these hands. Oh my goodness. Who am I drawn to here? Is that? Yeah, it is. Okay, let's do this. Hey, John.
Hey, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me. What can I answer for you or try to answer for you?
My 15-year-old son passed 13 months ago, suddenly and unexpectedly, and no reason given by the coroners. I just wanted to ask you about exit plans and your thoughts on those.
So exit plans as far as our transition to spirit?
Yeah, I'm just wondering, like with him, was it just his time and trying to come to grips with that?
Okay. Where does the A come in? The A name?
A?
Yep. Could be like Anthony, Andrea. A lot of times they'll mention their friends or someone who's been instrumental for you. You may have a best friend named Alex who's been instrumental. And I want to say Anthony, Andy, Andrea. And I always tell people, don't think so much about the name. Think more of, okay, what would my person or your son be trying to say? Could be your pastor, Pastor Andy, or someone at work, Andrea. It feels like an A-N. Anthony, Andrea, Andy, Anthony, Anaya, something like that. Feels like A-N. A-N could also be initials, like so A-N.
It's not resonating.
Okay, it will come. No, I gotta stick with it before I answer. So just go with the A. I feel like it may have something to do with your work, to be honest with you. Maybe
Spent
somebody.
many years as an auditor. A for auditor.
Yeah, no. And maybe do you talk to, are there people at work? Is there an A at work? Anne Marie, Anna, Anne, or his work? Oh, he was 13. So Anne, Anna, Andrea. I feel like you know it. And I'm not pushing you. It's coming through very strong. Anne, Anna, Annie. Take a step back from work and just think A-N. Anne, Anna, Andrea, Anthony. What are their A names? Andy? Andy. Andrew? Oh, you don't got it? Darn it. A friend of his, one of your friends, a coworker. It's important. Pastor? His doctor? Andy. You gotta try one more. Just try for 10 more seconds, 15 more seconds. Two N's. Anne. It's got to be Anne. Where's Anne? Because he just showed me Annapolis. So A-N-N. Where does the Anne come in? It could have nothing. It could be your grandmother. I have no idea, but it may not even have to do it directly with your son. Anne. Is there a sister Anne? It's very strong.
Could it be on his side with spirits on his side?
It could be anywhere. It could be living or past. So I just say to you, Anne. Who's the A-N? Boom. It just pops into you. Who's Anne, Anna, Andrew, Angela?
Cousin's wife.
Say again?
My cousin's wife.
Your cousin's wife. What's the name?
Anne.
Okay, and where does she come in? Do you talk to her? Your cousin? I don't really probably talk to my cousin. Well, maybe I do. My cousin's wife. Do you know her? Are you close with her? Is she in the family?
It's in the family, but we're not super close.
Is she spiritual?
Yes.
Would you be shocked? Would you be not shocked? Because I want you to answer yes if this is truth. That she would pass on a message from your son, or she would be someone in the family who would be a little more connected to get some information from him.
That would be surprising. I haven't talked to her since he passed. I talked to her husband, but not her.
And what is her husband's name?
Jim.
But Anne would be like, no, but you're pretty close with Jim. It's someone who you engage with fairly regularly.
Not regularly, but on special occasions.
So let's put it this way. I feel like when you're not in front of me, Anne would be someone who you could kind of talk to about these type of things, believe it or not, whether you believe it or understand it. To me, she comes across at a higher vibration, and she may have already gotten messages from him that she maybe hasn't passed on to you yet, or that she will. Sometimes people just operate there. When we're in grief, a lot of times we miss out on some of those messages. So he's making me feel like that would be someone who you can reach out to when I'm not, when you don't go to a medium. To answer your, I can't answer your question yet. Okay. Where's the bowling come in? Who's the bowler? Who likes to bowl? Or maybe you took them bowling, or you went bowling recently.
I bowled years ago, but haven't had any bowling lately.
That's okay. Do you have a ball?
Yes, it's in the basement.
You have your own ball though?
Yeah.
Okay. So sometimes when I'm in like a group event and there's like 50 people there, I'll be like, who has their own bowling ball? Or I'll do something to where, like, you probably think, and correct me if I'm wrong, that, well, a lot of people have bowling balls. I don't think many people do, actually. So I would love to serve. I'm sure some people do, but I can, so you want me to just say that? So, okay, this is a little tough. How long, if you don't mind me asking, has it been since he passed?
13 months.
Okay. And the reason, just so you know, if you watch on replay, and if anyone saw my look, I was going to write down 13. I didn't know what it meant. And when he said 15, I was like, oh, that must not be it. It must be something else. So he brought up the 13th before you even started talking. And that was the look, if you watch the video back, why I was like, I was in shock because you said 13.
Yes,
so
15 years old.
Yeah, but the 13 came through. It's just, it was just, to me, it's just more validation for me. But, and you're going to, I know you're going to balk at this message, but I feel like he really wants you, before we're going to answer that question, I'm not sidestepping it, but they have all these things first. He really wants you to get back to doing the things you love. And he says, well, my dad's not going to take that very well because he just misses me and wants me back. He doesn't want to go bowling or do any of the other things he loves. I know that was years ago, but that's just the way they bring me to the point, which is he wants you to start doing some of the things that make you happy, because to him, that's the most important thing right now. And I just don't think you've gotten there yet. You understand that?
Mhm.
Do you, if you don't mind me asking, and again, one step at a time, well, let me tell you what I see. When I see dirty hands, when the hands are dirty, it means one of two things. It's either something about marijuana, and usually it's more likely that. Have you been smoking marijuana? It's legal in many states now, so don't think it's a bad thing. Have you been smoking marijuana?
No, I'm not.
No? Okay, then if the marijuana isn't the thing and he didn't smoke, or you didn't find any of his, or you don't smoke it, correct?
Right.
Okay, so what did you just plant of his then, or plant for him? You got the hands dirty. Where does the planting come in? You must have just done it, because when they show me the actual plant, it could have been a long time ago. When they show me the dirty hands, it's pretty fresh. So what did you just plant or get your dirty hands with?
I haven't done any yard work yet, so haven't
Okay.
had during.
So it's one or the other. It's 100%, because when I see it as strong as I did, it's either the marijuana, and we're not admitting it. No offense, I'm not saying you're lying, but there's either maybe you found some, or you heard he smoked it, or you just smoked it, or someone else did, or it was a conversation recently with marijuana, and don't worry, it's legal in many states now, or the planting. I feel like it's the marijuana, and I feel like he wants to bring it up. So as much as we may not want to admit it, or this nervous with it, I got to talk about it. There's a reason to bring it up. And if you don't want to talk about it, you could say, yes, I understand, but we're not going to talk about it here. Do you understand the marijuana thing?
No.
I know, it's strong. How do I word it? Yes. When they tell me different, and you're telling me different, just give the message. Okay. Let me say this. Have you thought about like taking a gummy, or like smoking marijuana, or has someone proposed it to you lately? Or is there someone in your life who has brought it up? Like he's continuing to tell me marijuana in my mind. So it hasn't been a conversation, or you didn't just go to the dispensary. I have no idea where you are. Again, it's legal in many states, but this is very strong. And I think that I'm not being forceful, because I'm just here to help you. But when you see a night like this where they don't mess up, I got to stick with the marijuana. And so I'll just do this. Let's do this. My message to you is it's okay. So if tomorrow someone says, hey, what's your name? Hey, John, let's go have one, or let's do a gummy, or let's like, have a THC or something. I feel like your son is giving you permission that because it's a plan. They've told me this before, that it's okay to take it and just relax. And, I'm not telling you go smoke 5 doobies a day, but I feel like marijuana could actually help you. So if it hasn't been brought up, I'm not telling you to go to the dispensary, because again, I think it's legal in most states, if not all. I do feel like it's something beneficial to you, but I will pray for you, and I'll encourage you to pray. So let God show you that. I'm not here to tell you that, but you may find that a friend, or you just see a plant, or you walk by a dispensary and you get goosebumps. Something might happen where I think that might be able to help you. Not that you look very relaxed, but to help you I think it would help you. So and you're saying you don't understand it, and I believe you, keep that as an option. And that is coinciding with the getting back to the bowling thing, not bowling specifically, but doing the things that are good for you, that you want to do because you deserve them. You're too hard on yourself. And I don't know if it's in relation to the fact that you were tough with him, or if you're just hard on yourself in general, but he's making me feel like, just go easy on your pop. No, not that you have to call you pops, but just go easy on your dad. Like, just go easy on yourself, because I feel like you beat yourself up. And you don't have to say anything about that. But he wants nothing but the best for you. Where does Ernie or Ellen come in? Could be a grandparent, could be a friend. We figured out Anne, right? Yeah, Anne was the spiritual person. Who's E? Edward, Ernie, Evan. That's not a common name.
Well, Ellen was my grandmother's name and my mother's middle name.
Okay. Grandmother you were close to.
Uh-huh.
Very emotionally connected to her. Just telling you she loves you, and you need to give yourself more credit. There's a part of you that blocks the love part of yourself. And I don't mean that in an accusatory way, but it's almost like, and they keep talking about the rainbows, by the way, with you as well, very strongly, but when you clear the glasses, and I'm not saying that because you have glasses, but when you kind of really realize who you are and that you are truly love, you have a lot to offer people, but I feel like you hold it back for a few different reasons we won't discuss. But you're capable of so much love, and I just don't think you give yourself enough credit for how much love that you can actually spread. And I feel like he makes me feel like, no, Daniel, yes, that's true, but this really set him back, obviously, your child. But when you realize that you have that capability, you're going to come into a new you, and this was part of that growth. They give me the weirdest thing. Where's the broccoli come in? See, broccoli.
He didn't like broccoli, and I don't either.
So I got goosebumps and I'm getting emotional. Sorry. Sometimes we have to do things we don't like to help be the best people we can be. So I think he used the broccoli analogy, and something that you knew very strong is like, Dad, you might have to get a little bit uncomfortable to get to the true you, this love part of you that you're blocking. And it's going to be a whole new beautiful life for you. And the rainbows, which are coming through very strong, I don't know if you have a connection with them, but it's the amount of love that you're able to spread and the beauty that you spread once you really recognize who you truly are and you don't hold yourself back. Because there's this block, and it's restricting you from, Matthew 5:16 is one of my favorite verses, from letting your light shine. And like, let your light is like, it's almost like it's in a mountain, and the light is there, and the holes are starting to peek through, and then and that's you, and this is going to be you over the next couple of years. But as you continue to grieve and grow, he's telling me you're capable of so much love, and I'll say that more than most typical males. Just going to say that there's this side of you that's restricting you, and then there's this other side of you, John, that's like a teddy bear of just beautiful love, and it's growing and it's coming out, and I'm excited because I can see it, and I get emotional when I connect to it. And you're going to cry tonight, and you're going to let yourself go once you let that block down. It's a beautiful thing, and he's just reminding me to tell you that you have like so much love, and I don't tell that to many people. You can watch my lives, you can watch my things. There's this, you're just ready to explode with love, and you're just going to be okay. Let me say that. He wants me to. Hang on, sorry. Sorry. He wants me to tell you, and you're not going to believe this, but when you find this part of you, you're going to be happier than you ever have been. And why that's difficult for me to say that is like, well, he's telling me that, and I'm like, well, I have to tell this, you're not here. How could that be? And he says, tell him. You won't believe it, but there's a part of you that you're going to discover through this whole process that is just out of this world. And the human part of you is like, you know what? F no, Dan. I'm not going to be happy because my son's not here. But the soul part of you says, this is part of the growth. And I have this huge crescendo of, I feel like, have you ever read Your Soul's Plan by Robert Schwartz?
I did the audiobook.
I'm sorry? Oh, you read the audiobook?
Yeah.
Okay. Remember in the beginning how Robert felt when he walked down the street and he just, I love him, I love her, I love that. Do you remember that? If you remember, that's you within the next couple of years. And it's going to be slow, but there will be a day where you're like, I just love everything about everyone. And when and this is all part of that process. So to answer your question, thank you. Okay, hold on. Who's Heather or Heidi? Herb? Henry? Helen? Hank? It's an H name. Harvey? Hannah? It's funny, I'll do a reading and I'll be like, oh, and I'll do the 12th name. Oh my gosh, my sister. I'm just kidding. Heather, Heidi, Henry, Hank. Could be a dog, could be a pet. Friend. Hank, Heidi, Heather. Sometimes I'll go to the chat. People. Herbert, Herb. Yeah, I'm getting it strong. Yep. Harvey, Heidi, Hillary. Harvey, Hillary, Hank, Harry, Harold. Think grandparents, parents. Could be someone you went to high school with. Hillary, Hadley, Hank, Henry, Harry, Harvey. Now this one's gonna be more difficult, he says. Shows me a firefighter. I want you to think of the firefighter. Do you have a firefighter in the family?
No.
Police officer, badge, yes, H. You live in an H city? You know, because they'll show me that sometimes for the city. Oh, yeah, oh man. Try H. H-A. Hank, Harry. So we got Anne was the sister. What was the other one we talked about?
Ellen.
Oh, Ellen was the grandmother who you were close to. Harry or Harold? Hank. It could be anybody. Just
Hank on.
Well, does that mean anything? I mean, besides,
Well, to me it does, but
well, tell me.
well, he's a great baseball player that passed recently. So
Did you have a connection with him with your son, or was there any did you guys like baseball together? Well, you know,
No.
I still feel like this is it, and I don't know why, and I wouldn't normally say it because he's just a random baseball player, but there's something more. Did he play baseball? Did you give him a Hank Aaron baseball card? Oh, that'd be awesome because that'd be probably valuable. But did you follow? Did he not play baseball and you wanted him to? There's something here I have to talk about. And Spirit doesn't mess up. Was he your favorite player?
no.
Why Hank Aaron then?
Well, you asked about the name Hank, and you know he's been in the news lately, and
Oh, he has?
yeah,
For what? I don't watch the news. Sorry. For what?
he passed away
How long ago was that?
earlier this year. But that's just for me. It's not a connection with the son.
But did you like him? Did you go see him? Did you meet him?
No, the only reason I brought him up is you mentioned the name Hank.
But you wasn't like a favorite player. This is some guy who died. It wasn't like you were a Braves fan or you went to see his baseball card, or you and your son didn't have a baseball connection, or there's nothing with Hank Aaron specifically.
No.
He was just a guy. Okay. You're not a baseball fan or anything. Okay.
I am.
You are a baseball fan?
Right. but not the Red Sox, not that team.
Yeah, but that's okay. So just, be open a little bit, only because if I say that and okay, I know, I understand. What does that have to do with it? Okay, so hold off on the baseball thing. So you're a baseball fan?
Mhm.
Did he not like baseball?
He wasn't into sports.
If you don't mind me asking, is he your only son?
Yes.
Would it be safe to say that even though you were very different, you had a lot in common? Almost as if you had different things that you liked, very different things, but at the
Yes.
same time, there was a lot of things that you either agreed on, like politically or whatever. It doesn't have to be politically, religiously, but there was things that were, and I think this could apply to a lot of people, but he's still making me say it, that there were these things that, how do you want me to say it that way? He won't admit it, I know. He's repeating to me that he wants you to go easy on yourself. So I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, that you beat yourself up over some of the, either the way you parented or things you said or some of the things that happened between you, and you continue to think about those things. Whether you admit it or not, that's what I feel like he's telling me. And I want you to not beat yourself over or think about, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Or maybe if I said this, and then again, I don't know how he passed, but if you almost feel like you question some of the actions, thoughts, and decisions you made from the time he was little until he passed. Do you I mean, I guess what parent doesn't, but I still have to, do you beat yourself up over that or think about that?
No, I think it's just unfortunate for him to pass unexpectedly and accept the suddenness of it. So I'm not beating myself up on anything in the past.
Well, that's good. So I want to, if I get that, I have to talk about that. So from the time that he was raised and until the time he passed, that period of time, there's no thoughts about being too strict or not doing this or not doing that. That there's nothing thought with that. Okay, so then where are you? Zero.
Yeah.
Okay, so why are you telling me that? And he's the only child. Are you? Oh well, do you have a daughter?
Stepdaughter.
No. Are you? I don't want to argue. It's not. So how do I say that? All right. I still have to say, I'm sorry. I listen to Spirit because I've been doing this a long time and they're never wrong. And I'm not saying that you're, but there's something about you going over something in your head and you go over it and over it and over it and he wants you to stop. And it feels like to me, like situations or parenting decisions or something. I'm not even gonna look at you. You don't have to admit it, but I want to tell you, because I've done this for so long. And then you looked at like tonight with all the validations, and even if it takes you a little while to finally figure out and the spiritual message or whatever, sometimes it's people, because they're grieving, are a little bit more open and receptive to messages based on grief and all kinds of different things. But I want to tell you that when you leave off the computer and you go kind of do your thing, that I want you to stop replaying or thinking about some of the actions, decisions, and things that happened. And it doesn't have to be a bad thing. It doesn't have to be like, oh, I wish I would have done that. It's just something about replaying something over and over. I almost feel like you kind of like, and you think about that. I don't know what it is. Only you know that, but I feel like he wants to tell you to stop beating yourself up over that. It could have nothing to do with him, but there's something about repeating and wondering and going over and over. And he wants you to kind of just get to a point where you'll eventually be able to get to the final stage of grief, which is acceptance. Now, can I answer his question? Who's the, nope, not yet. If you're still hanging with me, John, I know you're the J. I see you're the, who's the other J? They give me another J because they wouldn't give me your name. Who's James, or if he was John Jr., or there's
I have a brother, Joe.
your brother's Joe, still here?
Yep.
Is it similar to your son? Are you too much alike, or do you have too much? I almost feel like you guys butt heads, or there's things that you feel very strongly about that you maybe disagree about. Is that something about your brother?
No, we get along famously, so.
Nope. What do you, there's something you disagree on. There's something he wants to joke about that you feel it's one, maybe it's politically, religiously, or something, and maybe you even have fun with it. Most people don't. I'm glad you have that good relationship with him. But he wants to talk about this one thing that you have completely different view on. But you can talk, most people, 99% of people can't talk about it because it brings up something. But do you have different political views, religious views, something? There's something about the thing that you almost like will have conversations that most people can't talk about. It's a very differing view. You don't know what it is? And it's not between between you and your son. Something, it was very different. It's almost like you're left wing and he's right wing or something. There's something there that's funny. Is there another J then?
Well, in spirit, my father John and Uncle Jim.
Let's see. So who's the one that you?
I guess I'm lucky. I don't have anybody tell you I butt heads with.
It's not a bad thing. It's more of like an opposite belief system thing, but it's okay to talk about. Like I have friends that, no, I got to get back to this. It's okay. It's not a bad thing, but it's like a very differing view. I feel it very strongly. What's the point? Let me ask the point because you're not getting this.
Well, simply it could be the belief in mediums.
Where do you stand with that?
Well, I'm a believer, and you could say my brother is on the fence. So I don't know if that's really butting heads. I think it's just.
Has that been a conversation?
Hmm?
Has that been a conversation with him?
Yeah.
And he's a J?
Yeah.
Okay. But you are a believer.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I understand. I know he's 15, but he's very sharp. He's an old soul. And how do I put that? It's a good thing. He's telling me that you're very smart and you're tactical and you're multi-leveled. So I think you're very calculated. Correct me if I'm wrong, but he makes me feel like you're a lot deeper than you're letting me know about. So not that I'm assuming that you're not, but he's just giving you credit to how sharp you are. I wouldn't be surprised if you were if you were either military or police or strategic kind of planning thing, but you have almost like a multi-level understanding of different things that most people don't have. But that being said, when you end up in that side of the brain, so good. Have you progressed? I know it seems kind of choppy, but he's very, I don't know, he's very light to me. It just feels like a really light, good energy. Have you progressed pretty far in your understanding and belief of all this stuff in the last 13 months since he's passed?
Oh yes.
Now can I get to his answer? Thank you. So to answer your question, from my understanding, when it's our time, it's our time. And as much as it stinks sometimes to hear that, and it's like this is the person that meant the most to me in my life, like why in the world would this happen? Every reading I've done, every book I've read, everything I've ever uncovered or understood about our lives and our transition it's all part of the plan. It's all the way God doesn't mess up. And a lot of people will be like, well, he messed up here because he wasn't supposed to, whatever the case may be, which is totally understandable. But if you respect my opinion and it sounds like if you read that book of all books, you probably come to understand the same thing as much as we don't want to admit it. It's like, why would that happen? That's like who I am. That was my person. But I firmly believe that when we transition, when we go home to God, it's just our time. That includes accidents, which are not accidents, death by suicides, disease, whatever it may be. If there's hundreds and thousands of, believe it or not, failed suicide attempts every day. And it's because it wasn't their time. If you've done any reading, which I'll bet you have, about near-death experiences, a lot of them come back. I've read books about statistical things with near-death experiences, and they say that it's not your time. It's not your time. The soul will come back to live. So I firmly believe that when we do transition home, it's just our time to go. I understand. Same name. All right, I'm gonna keep going. I'm not. If you're okay, I'm not gonna stop him. Who's P like Paul or Patrick or Patty?
My sister Patty, I have her husband's Paul, and I have a nephew Patrick. So the P's are hitting.
Yeah, it's like, which one is it? Oh, it's music. Oh, none of them. Peter Frampton. It's a P musical song. Who do you like? That's the P. Peter Frampton or who's the P that you like? I don't know if you like your music. Do you like music?
Don't have a P that I can think of.
Do you like music?
Yeah.
Yeah. Not Pantera. Peter
Clapton.
Eric, you said Eric Clapton? Paul Simon? It's definitely a P. Yeah, but it would have to be one of your favorites. It's not like, who doesn't like Paul Simon? This is, I feel like he plays you the P song. But I want to say it's Peter, though. Who's Peter Cetera, Chicago? You like Chicago? Who doesn't like Chicago? Do you connect with him with a song? Yes or no?
Oh, yeah.
Any P
Yeah.
song?
It's one of, no, it's a Clapton song. A song that Clapton has sung. So I connect with him with a song.
But not the P? That's not
No.
There's a P song. I feel like, and I feel like the name Peter. So I don't know if it's Peter Cetera or if there's any other P name songs, but I don't think it's there. Not that the Eric Clapton song doesn't mean anything, but keep an eye out. You may be driving tomorrow and all of a sudden, the P song comes on. You're like, oh my gosh, I didn't even think about that one or whatever. Peter, Paul and Mary? Is that a band? Peter. Is that a band? Sorry. Wasn't that a band, Peter, Paul, and Mary?
In the 60s, huh?
Yeah, didn't they sing that song? There's something with Peter. So it's either Peter Frampton or Pete or something with the music. And then another exception, which this is how spirit communication works. You may talk to your Patty sister, and you talk to her after tonight, and she's like, "You wouldn't believe this, John. I was in the car thinking of your son, and a song came on the radio." That could be the P. So it doesn't have to be the P is the music. The P could be your sister Patty, who just happens to tell you tomorrow that she was in the car and the Eric Clapton sitcoms. And so even though that's not the song, that's just how it works. What can I tell them about? It's a piggybacking thing. The screwdriver thing. Did you just screw something in? Did he have the tools? The feeling behind it is to let you know he's still with you. Did you just fix something today or do something with the screwdriver today, yesterday, day before? It's usually not a week or two ago. It's usually recent. Did you just go to look for the screwdriver, or did he leave the tools? Because he shows me that and makes me let you know that he's still with you. Was there a conversation? Just buy one?
No, I feel he's with me, but not fixing anything lately for myself.
Gosh, it's crazy. You have 4 readings, and then this one doesn't feel as strong. Although I know he's with me. Yes. Did you just fix? What did? Yes. Did he? There's something about fixing something, or the screwdriver. It's coming through again. Did he leave tools? Did you just buy a new one? It doesn't have to be a screwdriver. Maybe you just bought a hammer yesterday. Something with a tool. But the message behind it is, I'm still with you. I know you feel him, but this is just validation. He's with you. What, did you just fix something and just buy a new tool, move your toolbox? I mean, I don't even really have a toolbox. Not everybody does. But do you work with tools?
No, I visited my mother in Boston, and a plumber came to fix her tub. So maybe he was with me then. So
How long ago was that?
a few days ago.
Did you get in there at all?
No.
Did you want to?
No, that was the plumber's job. So
Tell me about it. I'm like not tool guy at all. Tell me this, because I'm gonna stick with this for a minute. I don't fix anything. I'm terrible at that kind. Are you a fixer guy or are you not? Do you have tools? Do you even have tools?
Not really, no.
Not? Okay. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Thank you, buddy. Okay. So here's the message. It has nothing to do with the tools. My dad's name was John. When he passed, I went to a medium and she was talking about the tools. And I'm like, my dad was not a tool guy. He just didn't have me. He worked in a hardware store, but he didn't have like tools. You know, some of these dads are like tool guys. So back then I didn't believe in any of this stuff. And I went there to like see if it was real. And by the end, I really started to believe. But she said that these tools were my tools and I have these gifts and I'm able to, you know, it was my dad's way to let me know. And I thought it was a stretch at the time. Like, but when I look back, my dad was telling me I have the tools to do this work. And we've seen it tonight, right? So I feel like, now I'm not saying you're going to be John the medium, but I feel like your son, and I think you already know this, that you've tapped into a part of yourself that when you let that light out of the rock and let your light shine, I wouldn't be shocked if you're in a store and you see a woman and her father comes through and you just have to tell her, hey, you know, he's telling me you're going to pass on messages to people if you haven't already.
I hope that's true.
You know, I think you could feel it's true. I feel like there's part of you that's not shocked and is a little excited to hear that. Correct? Be honest. Yeah.
I'm shocked, but I'm hopeful, you know.
Well, it's natural to be shocked. Before it's funny. My dad was John. Like it's in you. Not that you look like him, but you kind of do resemble him a little bit. But that's where they're going with the tools. You have the tools. You just had to figure out how to use them. And when she told me that at the time, I was like, okay, yeah, you probably tell all your people that. I was a huge skeptic. Maybe you were before this too. But you know, so here's this medium using a screwdriver and saying, hey, did you use a tool lately? No, this is his way to let you know that you have these gifts and you're going to be utilizing them to help other people. Because I know this, you do like helping others. And I think that's maybe not necessarily a secret passion of yours, but something that you know, Matthew 6:1 talks about helping others but not telling everybody about it. And I think that's you. I think you might give $20 or something to the person on the street and not tell a soul because you just know that's the right thing to do and makes you feel good. You don't need to tell everybody you're doing it, correct? You have the tools, and he's just reminding you that you're learning and your growth as you continue throughout this grieving process. Okay, thank you. Will reveal those abilities and tools for you. It's like you already have the tools, you just got to figure out how to use them. He also wants me to tell you that he hears you. So that usually means you either speak to him out loud or you literally talk to him all the time. What they do is they show me E.T., you know, E.T. the movie. So, but I always tell people what they show me so you know what they mean. But please know that he actually hears you. Don't doubt that. You probably already know that, but there's a reason I had to tell you. And the last thing, I hope you get this, because some of the things it took you a while to get, some things you got right away, some things you didn't get. But I got to talk about the gumballs. Where do the gumballs come in? I'm really hoping you get this one because I want to finish out on your son with no pressure. But I got to talk about the gumballs. I don't know if you have any kids or grandkids, or I don't know how old you are. Say a mean thing, but there's something with the gumballs. Do you have a gumball machine in the house when you were little, or did you give the kids gumballs? Just eat a gumball. It's a little round candy. Feels like a gumball.
Yeah, he wasn't into gum or gumballs. He did like chocolate though, but
no, this feels recent to me. Someone into vending machines, or did someone take someone somewhere and they got a gumball? There's something about it. The feeling is the same feeling about him letting you know that he's still around you. That's a stretch, but I'll say it, I guess. No. Okay, this is a stretch, but let me give him a shot. Have you thought about going bowling again? Have you thought about maybe picking the ball up and maybe possibly just going to the lanes and dusting off the ball? And be honest, you've been honest. But if it's a no, then that's not it.
not really.
I thought it was a stretch anyway because I was thinking of like the vending machines they have at the bowling alley. It still feels like it though. So is it a full circle message? Okay, it's multi-layered, just like you, Dad. Okay, so I wouldn't be shocked if he's trying to say to you, and he's being a little obscure. You know, you watch the first 4 readings and it's like boom, 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 direct. For you, it's a little different, so that maybe things will come through later. Maybe you'll find a screwdriver randomly in the garage on the ground, or you'll. I feel like a lot of this stuff will make sense a little more later. And we have these readings sometimes where it's like it'll make more sense, or maybe you get in the car and you hear the peace song, or maybe it's Patty's song. But the point of the gumball thing is, believe it or not, is the gumball portion of it will come up later. It will come up soon. You don't have any grandkids or younger kids?
No, I have like 18 nephews and nieces, but not any grandkids yet.
Okay. Something will come up with the gumballs. I don't want to keep saying that. And then the bowling thing is not only specific to the bowling. I really think maybe just getting that ball out and heading up to the lanes might be very therapeutic for you. By yourself, feel like you're just going to go by yourself, roll a couple games. I feel like he wants you to do that. But the same message about the bowling in the beginning was to let you know that those are the type of things I want you to do that are going to be helpful to you. The things that maybe you would have done maybe with him, some without him, but the things that you can't even picture yourself doing right now because you miss him and you hurt. Believe it or not, those type of things like the bowling or going to a baseball game, he shows me. I don't know if you live, I don't know if you live near Fenway. I think you said you're Boston. I think, believe it or not, you will have a very, very good spiritual and a good experience when all you really think right now is you miss him and that would cause pain. That will actually be a very therapeutic thing to do, like go to a baseball game, go bowling, and he's just reminding you of how important it is to take care of you. And the more you think about Jesus' analogy with building a house on sand or on rock. You build it on the rock, you're better able to let your light shine to help other people. And I think that's where your next couple of years are going. And I do think the P and the few things that we didn't get, the gumballs, the screwdriver, they're going to make their way into you, because as much as we are believers, and I don't want to speak for you, there's always a little bit of skepticism, even in me. I've been doing it for 3 years. I think some of those things are going to come into play and slowly play out for you, almost like my reading with my dad, John, was, because I really didn't believe in him. I'm not saying that you don't, but some of these things that we kind of think about will slowly make your way into their reality as time goes on. Can I give him one, like, that's very basic. I just want to give you, I want to end with like giving you something where you're like, damn, that's my son. Because I feel like we've kind of had it, but I don't feel like we have. So what can I, you got to give me more than that. Proud of him? Okay. Have you been reading a lot lately? Son of a, come on, bud. You haven't? Because he makes me, okay, sorry.
Not more than usual.
Learning something? The message is he's proud of you. And he shows me a book. So I don't know if you're, okay, is that just, so that's not a wow, but I guess I'll say it. I feel like from where you were before he passed into where you are now, you've opened up your mind, you've opened up your heart, and you've taken time to educate yourself and let yourself learn and maybe put your prior beliefs aside and been open to things that you may not have thought about that you've done before. And he wants to tell me that he's proud of you for that.
Absolutely true. Right on.
Thank God. And are you saying that too? All right, he's not done. I'm going to let you go so you can. Brian, Braddock, Brandon, who's the B? Beverly, Barbara.
I got a brother Bobby, but maybe he's met a lot of people on the other side with these names that I don't know. But
yeah, Brian. I don't feel like it's Bobby. Brian, Brandon, Brenda, Barbara. I feel like it's a BR.
I think those are new friends like Hank and things like that, but it's don't have that connection. But
wait, what do you say? There's new what?
What's that?
I didn't hear what you said about Hank.
No, I mean the B's that I'm not familiar with, and the H's. Some of these names that you're mentioning just don't connect at all.
It's either Brian.
That doesn't mean they won't come about in the near future or anything like that. Or
no, I just want to get Brian, but sometimes I say Brian, Brandon, Brenda, Barbara. I would actually feel like it's one of his friends. Oh no, that's a stretch. Okay, I'll say it. That's a real stretch. Okay. I know this is a stretch, and I don't even know if it makes sense. This is a tough one, and that's such a stretch for me, but I know he was 15. I feel like he wants me to talk about his 16th birthday. And BR, I guess, his birthday. They never do that. They usually show me candles. So just a yes or no. Is his 16th birthday coming up, or did it already did his 16th birthday coming up?
Pass.
Okay. Did you do okay, so it's difficult. Now this is like pretty common sense. I know that. Was it like a interesting day, very emotionally all over the place is the best way I can put it? His birthday, the 16th birthday?
Yeah, it was a emotional day, yeah.
Obviously, right. Okay. Now this sounds kind of weird, but I'm going to say it. Was him getting his license something that you always thought about, or you always, like, I don't know, hoped would come, or you were nervous about happening, but you were excited at the same time? I guess that's probably common too for most parents.
It's not a connection with that.
Shit. Oh my gosh, this is so strong to me. It's like it's coming through like, yes. What about the 16th birthday? Was there something with his permit or his license? Did you buy him a car? This is very strong. It's something like you had planned for the 16th birthday, and it was something that you were excited about or thinking about. It's very strong. You may have even thought about it before he passed. I don't know how long after he passed he was 16, but I got to talk about the 16th birthday. And I know BR birthday was a stretch, but I feel it. Did you miss out? Were you going to buy him a car, or like, would you schedule to take him for his permit or something? There's something about it.
Nothing to do with that. We just had his sister, mom, and myself had a special day celebrating. So there's no connection with that.
It's weird. I feel like I'm just going to tell you the message it feels like, even though you're not understanding it, but it's still just like in the previous ones. It feels that strong to me. There's something about, whether you admit it or not, and you're not, I'm not saying you're lying. You may just not be in touch with that part of you, and I'm not saying you're wrong. But I have to tell you, there was part of your soul, which you're not admitting, but I'm just saying it, that you need to hear this for some reason, that just kind of wanted him to get to that 16th birthday. There was something about that, whether you admit it or not, about this excitement or the car or the nervousness of the driving or something with the license, and we did not get there. It is confirmation to you, when you validate it later by yourself, that it was your soul understanding that it was in the plan, which you've read the book, it wasn't going to get to that. And there was part of you that was kind of wanting to get to that 16th birthday, so you know that we would get past that. So think about that later. You don't have to admit it, whatever now, but there's something to remind you that this is all part of the plan, and the 16th birthday is a big part of it. You may have had discussions with him about, hey, what kind of car you want to get, or there was something even internally that you don't even admit or know about yet that wanted him to get to that point on the human level, but that your soul knew that it wasn't going to get there. And it's just a reminder to you of the plan, and that your spiritual growth as a result of this is going to help you look at life in a way you've never thought of looking at it before. You are going to be Robert Schwartz walking down the street and being like, I love him, I love her, I love that rock. You are going to experience that multiple times, and you're going to have that euphoric feeling because that you're open-minded. This has gotten you to a whole new spiritual understanding, and he wants to tell you again that he's very proud of you for being willing and open to learn. That's the book. That's why, I see the book, but I tell you that because you're allowing yourself to experience these beautiful things, and you are going to help other people somehow, some way, whether it's a message in the store or speaking about what you went through as a grief of a father. But there's so much more that I'm limited to see, that is just, it's so bright and so full of love. It's you. I hope you call me in a couple of years and say, Daniel, I'm speaking now. I've kind of come out of my little shell, if you don't mind me saying, and I want to do this, and I'm doing this, and it's all because of my son and how I've learned of how to deal with this. And I think you're going to be helping other people. And I think even as much as you don't want to admit it, helping people gets you a feeling that you really can't even describe. And I think it's in you. And I think the more you find out who you truly are as love, and that light continues to shine, you're going to be helping others, and it's just going to be something you love doing, and you won't want money or anything else, or even the recognition. You may even just be the guy in the corner say, hey, listen, and you would never tell anyone, because it's just all that matters. It's Matthew chapter 6, if you know it, is just helping others. No one needs to know about it. And that's who you are, and that will come to fruition. So please know that he's very proud of you for being open and willing to learn and becoming who you truly are as love.
Thank you. Fantastic.
And last thing, sorry, there's a cheers, and it's beer. So I don't know if you guys had a beer together or you cheers to him, but he's talking about the beer. It's a can. I see a can of beer. So I don't know if you drink or he drank. You guys drank together. Where does the can of beer come in? Did you leave one for him? It's very strong.
Okay.
You don't understand that one either?
He didn't drink.
Did you cheers to him? Did you leave one for him? Something about do you drink a beer?
Occasionally, yeah.
There's something about the beer, and it almost feels like okay. So even though you're not a beer drinker, maybe you go to Fenway tomorrow or something, and you don't even think about it, and you order a beer and you sit there and think of them, and you're like, oh yeah, I just didn't have that moment. Know that when you have that random beer once in a while, that doesn't mean you're a big beer drinker, that you're not drinking without him. So when you do have that random one, or whatever it is, whether it's every day or all day or once in a great while, please know that he's there with you when you're having that. There will be more to that story.
Oh,
Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for letting me bring him through.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for listening too.
Thank you, John.
Thanks
That's wonderful. We just appreciated it so much. By the way, you might be one of our new affiliate leaders for Helping Fathers Heal, helping out Mike Edwards in the near future.
Hope so.
I'm sure that he would love to have a hand with the group that's growing right now.
I didn't mean to cut you off. Can I say something before you conclude?
Yes, but I need to say something about Maggie. This is really, really important. She's off now, but I have to tell you this very quickly. There are 3 things that you said that she couldn't figure out. One is that Zach had a dog, Rachel, that's with him, and you talked about Rachel. Todd, her husband, said that the ladder had just broken a few weeks ago after she got off. Wow. And then looking for a screwdriver to open his mom's watch while she was on the reading. So you talked about a screwdriver as well.
And the watch.
Yeah, and the watch as well. Exactly. So anyway, wow. I just wanted to make sure that you knew these things, because that's pretty amazing. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Yes, please do. Say whatever you'd like to.
Yeah, no, don't apologize. But what I want to share is, I think we had 3 or 4 readings where it was like their validations were wild. I think that with John's reading at the end, it almost looks like and would felt like, if I wasn't where I'm at, that I was struggling and that he wasn't really getting all the messages. He was getting some of them, but sometimes it takes a little longer to get them. So not all readings, like to me, the first 3 were like, oh my gosh, the validation is crazy. But even though John was open and trying to understand, sometimes it just doesn't work like that. I think you witness one of those, and it's almost actually kind of uncomfortable sometimes to see like, oh, Daniel's struggling or the Spirit's struggling, but it's really not. It's really just trying to figure out what they're going to say. And I wouldn't be shocked if either his sister Patty calls him and says, hey, I was thinking of your son, and our song came on the radio, or there's a P person. It could be either one. But I think was, especially with like, not that he was skeptic, but I think he admitted that he was before this whole thing happened, like I was. Sometimes it won't be as strong. And then all these validations come later, which is why I just deliver the message and hope that it validates. But that sometimes I have to disagree with the person I'm giving the reading with and just pass the message. Maybe it could mean something different, just like you experienced. Those 3 things with the ladder, she didn't even remember that or know about that. So I won't be shocked if John has some of those experiences later to validate it as well. So sometimes when it seems like we're struggling, it's really just the energy of the Spirit, the energy of the person, and what's best for that person. Maybe, and again, I'll stop talking, but for me, one of the things I worried about when I first did this was, am I getting information from their mind? Because that would not be cool. Like, how do I really know it's their person and spirit? And so I would, and for a period of like a month, I would get things that weren't being validated, but sure as heck, they would message me a week later and say, oh my gosh, you said the name George, and that was my great grandfather who my mother talks about all the time, and I forgot about it. So, and it wasn't even in her mind, or his or her mind. So sometimes those things will happen because the person, it sounds like an excuse or a cop out, but in the reality, it's so that that person can experience a type of reading and type of growth that they need to. Like to me, the screwdriver and the tools, that's a total stretch. But I remember when my medium told me that about the tools, and I was like, okay, whatever, the tools. But it really made sense. And I'm look at the work I get to do now because I have those tools. And me as a skeptic back then was like, okay, that's the tools my dad's talking about. But it was real and it made sense. So maybe with John, it'll make sense at a later point.
That's beautiful. You know, Irene was saying that maybe the song or the group is Peter, Paul, and Mary that you were talking about. The answer, my friend, is Blowing in the Wind. It was written by Bob Marley. I just thought that I should bring that up because it's a beautiful.
Bob Dylan, yeah.
I mean, Bob Dylan, excuse me, Bob Dylan. Thank you. I read Dylan and I said Marley, but yes. Anyway, I don't know if that lends anything to it, but I thought that that was beautiful. I also just want to say that so many people were piggybacking with everything that you were saying today. So our chat box is filled with Azza came back and she was talking about buying a 6-pack of beer, and she doesn't even drink beer, but she just did. And then she's also talking about the tools that she found in her son's truck. And I think that, plus there are just so many other people who are piggybacking this evening. The bowling thing is really big as well. So I know that the messages that you were giving to parents were resonating with everyone and everything that you were saying. And I think the most important message that I think everybody should understand is that helping others helps us. And I know that you were explaining that to John. I can't tell you how much our kids help us help others too. And they love it so much. So if anybody does want to help, we are always looking for people to help. So please feel, as a matter of fact, Maggie just has signed up to help with our Zoom meetings. So she's going to be one of our people who's taking care of all the scheduling. If anybody knows anything about Zoom, we need help with Zoom. We need help with lots of different things. So please let Irene and I know if you do want to get involved. And I think maybe John is going to be getting involved in the near future, whether he wants to or not.
I hope so, yeah. Thank you.
But anyway, I truly appreciate you being here. And I also just want to say that we will definitely put your book on the website so that everyone will know about it. And this is recorded. So any messages that might not have resonated immediately, we'll know about them later. I already have Kaylee, who's going to be sending in her validation story. And then I think that there will probably be a lot of others. I'm expecting one from Maggie as well. So we'll be able to read about those in the newsletter and how they resonated. And in any case, thank you all for being here.
Yes,
Irene,
thank
is
you.
there anything that we need to
No, we're
remind
good.
people of?
Everyone can unmute themselves and say thank you. Thank you again, Yen. It was wonderful. What a great night.
Thank you.
Thank
So thank
Thank
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you, Daniel.
Daniel.
It was
Thank you
beautiful.
so much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye,
you, Irene. It was
everyone.
Good night,
good.
everyone.
Thank you.
Bye
Yeah,
Bye.
thank you.
So much,
Bye-bye.
Daniel. That was
Thank you.
wonderful.